set, whistle blows. Blake at his blue line, picks up speed. He'll touch the puck in center ice. He'll go wide to his right. Coming in on Gustavsson. Forehand, waits, backhand chance. Gustavsson makes the save. Now a shot off the post. Anderson flops on it. Did it cross the goal line? The Wild say it did. No official signal from the referees as yet.
Is under review to determine if the puck entered the net prior to the whistle. The call on the ice before review is no goal.
Reviewing the play, the call on the ice stands, the goal.
Ball back for Svechnikov, side of the net. Jarvis out in front. Aho in the slot. He scores! Sebastian Aho has got Carolina on the board with 2:48 left here in the third.
Boy, hi everybody. What did I just say? Hi everyone, it's the Canes Corner podcast. I am Adam Gold. Who's excited? Who's excited to be here tonight? Hurricanes lose to the Wild 2-1. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it is for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. You should check them out, even if you don't like what I have to say. We're going to try and cover some ground tonight. Try to, explain some things. Hurricanes played a pretty good game tonight. Could have won for the same price. Didn't. Had a penalty shot. Didn't go. Mikko Rantanen had a whole bunch of chances. Didn't go. Sebastian Aho did get a goal, but had plenty of chances. Didn't go. Aho and Blake were probably their two best players tonight among the forward group. Slavin was really good. Thought Burns was good. I don't really care if people can't see it. It's all right. Everybody's got preconceived notions, apparently. But the Hurricanes weren't good enough. And it's the ball game. They had chances in tight. Didn't get a lot of rebounds. Minnesota did a very good job. It's their thing. They do a very good job of protecting the box in front of the net. So it's hard to get inside. Doesn't mean you can't, but it's hard to get inside. It was the first time we really saw frustration from Mikko Rantanen. We saw frustration from Jackson Blake. I do find it absolutely hysterical how much, I don't even know what to call it, slander really, that Blake has taken on social media for the last 2 weeks. And all he's done is created more offense than any player wearing a uniform. That's it, flat out. Nobody has created more opportunities to score than Jackson Blake. He does need strength. We've all known this. I've been saying it for 3 months. When this guy puts on 15 pounds of muscle in his lower body, he's going to be a handful. He's already a handful. And I think some of that lower body strength that he doesn't have yet is part of the reason that sometimes he gets bodied off the puck. But he always seems to get the puck back. And he was their most dangerous player tonight. Sebastian Aho probably a close second. As many times as Aho and Rantanen combined for scoring opportunities tonight, they always didn't materialize in a shot. You would have thought they would have scored a goal together. Aho did, extra attacker. It was a frustrating night for everybody, and it did feel like they were never going to score. I felt it. I know you guys did. It just felt like there was nothing this team was going to do that was going to score a goal. And I don't think they were goaltended tonight. Filip Gustavsson was good. I didn't see anything special. I didn't see any miraculous saves. I thought Eric Comrie played way better last night than Filip Gustavsson did tonight. Or not last night, Tuesday night. Comrie didn't face as many shots, but Carolina had amazing chances to score in that game and made Comrie make good saves. Third period, they weren't any good in Winnipeg. And in this game, I thought they shot him right in the stomach a bunch, or into the pads a lot, or they missed the net a lot. Carolina had 91 shot attempts tonight. And I know people can get, I'm not going to get caught up in the Corsi number. I rarely do. To me, it's about the quality of the shot more than the number of the shots. I understand that it just means you have the puck. Hurricanes had the puck a lot tonight. They had that 2-minute shift in the third period where it was probably Andrei Svechnikov's best shift of the night. Heck, it might have been his only good shift of the night. I thought Andrei was no good tonight. And he had 3 shots on goal, I think, in that shift. And all 3 were easy saves. And he was close. He had the best scoring chance on the power play tonight, Andre. I'm scattered. I'm all over the place. I will narrow it down in a minute. Andre came in transition down the left side, got in, below the top of the left faceoff circle, had a great look. And I can't tell if it was 2 feet wide or 2 feet high or both. I watch Andre take a lot of shooting practice after games sometimes after the warm-up. I think they should bring a walrus out, like that commercial. Bring a walrus out and let Andre shoot around the walrus. Because, boy, does he hit the goalie a lot. Look, I don't know if it was posted in our show podcast feed, but for me, and we spend a lot of time bitching about this player and bitching about that player. Mikko Rantanen has been fine since he got here. He has not been great. He has not been Mikko Rantanen. And I'm not blaming Mikko Rantanen. I don't think it's easy to change teams. I don't. And apparently Martin Necas scored a goal tonight. I've seen Colorado play twice. Necas went to a place where he is simply being asked to skate fast. Perfect for him. He is a -4. Maybe that doesn't matter to you. But he has been directly responsible for goals the other way. Flat out. But, again, he's not being asked to come back to worry about that side of the puck. And that's good. He was asked to worry about that here. I actually thought he was doing a fairly good job for him defensively. I miss Necas. I miss Martin Necas, the player. I miss Martin Necas, the competitor. I miss a lot about Martin Necas. The Hurricanes miss Martin Necas on the power play just to get the puck in the zone. And I said that right away, watching them on the power play. Actually mentioned it to Rod Brindamore today in our conversation. They definitely miss him. They have to figure out how to establish the zone. But the power play was stinking on ice while Necas was here. So if we're sitting here blaming the lack of Necas because now that the power play is bad, Mikko Rantanen's a great power play guy. He hadn't made it better. And I'm not blaming Mikko Rantanen at all for anything. I am going to give him the grace and the time to acclimate. I think he is trying super hard. I think his teammates are trying super hard to make it all work. I don't know if it's in some way everybody trying hard to impress each other. Maybe Sebastian Aho, who definitely would love to see his friend stay here beyond this year. And I've heard some, Paul Bissonnette say no way he's going to sign with Carolina, and people are going with it. I've seen on social media, nope, he doesn't want to be here. Nobody knows that. 0 people know that. Bissonnette's reasoning is that he didn't think the Hurricanes would pay him. Look, I don't think there's any guarantee that Rantanen's going to stay here. but it will not be because the Hurricanes won't offer him enough money. The only reason he wouldn't stay here is if he didn't want to. It will have nothing to do with money. The Hurricanes are going to be so far under the cap, they can pay Mikko Rantanen whatever they want, whatever he wants. It ain't going to be about cash. So it's going to be about, does he want to play here? And Rantanen could have 5 goals in his 6 games. He could have had 2 goals tonight. Probably should have had at least 1. Probably should have had 2 goals in Winnipeg. He got none. Like, go back and watch. You'll see it. There are scoring opportunities. Sebastian Aho should have scored before the 3rd period tonight. But anyway, as I was getting to, I went on a little bit of a rant on my day job, the show, noon to 3, Monday through Friday, on 99.9 The Fan. And while everybody is blaming, well, Jackson Blake, get him off that line. That line wasn't not scoring because of Jackson Blake. He was the best player on that line for however long it stayed together. Flat out. Go watch. Mikko Rantanen was the 2nd best player on that line. Flat out. That line wasn't scoring because Sebastian Aho wasn't playing well. Offensively wasn't playing well. Defensively, he's usually pretty good. So for me, and this will speak directly in contrary to what some of you in the chat, because I've gone through the chat already tonight. Look, if you don't want to believe what I say, you are free to find another podcast, man. You are not gonna break my heart. I'm here because I love this team, and I know you do. I'm telling you what I see. I'm telling you what I see, and I talk to other people, former players, who also see these things. We discuss them. Rantanen has not been Rantanen since he got here. Just hasn't. I'm not expecting him to be yet. Takes time. Takes time. It's all right to admit that. It's all right to admit that he hasn't been great since he got here. Taylor Hall's, although I didn't think Hall was particularly good tonight, but in the games that he played, Taylor Hall had been better than Mikko Rantanen. Doesn't quite play as much. And that's okay. It's probably a better situation for Hall to jump into. I think there is a big part of Mikko Rantanen that's still pissed off. I would be. You play your whole career with one team. You've won a Stanley Cup with one team. I'd be mad too. So there's going to be an adjustment period. That's just human, right? He'll get it, and it'll start to click. He's too good a player. And this team will start scoring goals again. So I'm not put off by what I mean, it's frustrating because the team should be scoring, but they're not. Power play is really bad. It doesn't matter who the guy on the blue line is. It doesn't matter whether it's Gostisbehere or Burns. I've said this 1,000 times. I don't believe the power play is about the guy at the point. I think it's about the 4 forwards around him. And right now, Carolina's 4 forwards just are not moving well enough, moving the puck well enough, changing places well enough, going low to high well enough. Everything in sports is about confidence. And right now, Carolina's offensive confidence is at almost a historic low. Just no way around it. But what I talked about on the radio, as I keep delaying it, is that we can talk about all of these pieces that have come in, and ultimately there are 2 players that will determine the fate of the Carolina Hurricanes in terms of offense. And they are Sebastian Aho and Andrei Svechnikov. If they don't get the players that they anticipated getting at the beginning of the season. It doesn't matter what Mikko Rantanen does. It doesn't matter what Taylor Hall does. It doesn't matter what Seth Jarvis does or Jackson Blake or anybody else. It is about 20 and 37. 20, I don't know how many weeks ago it is now. We had a little fun with grades. And I gave Sebastian Aho a B because we're grading him on based on what we expect from Sebastian Aho, which has been good. But you don't make $9.75 million to be good. He needs to be great. It just wasn't great. It was good. Wasn't hurting them. He just wasn't helping them enough. Andrei Svechnikov? Not a good grade. C? C minus? I think Andrei tries hard. Tries hard, plays hard all the time. But boy, has Andrei, for the most part, been a mess this year. They can't be a great team unless Andrei Svechnikov is a big part of it. Just can't. He's too important to what they do. You add Mikko Rantanen and take some of the pressure off Andrei. I really thought that would help Andrei get going. He had the one game, right, where he scored 2 goals, had an assist. I'm trying to remember who that was against now. The funny thing is that, it was, which game was it? I actually thought Taylor Hall was the best forward in that game. Hall only had 1 assist. Andrei had 3 points. Hall had 1 assist. I thought Hall was the best forward in that game. Slavin was the best player in that game. Again, I'm drawing a blank on what the opponent was. It wasn't the Islanders. Might have been the Blackhawks game. I think it was the Blackhawks game. I think Rantanen had a goal in that game too, did he not? I don't remember. Sorry. Regardless. Oh, it was the Rangers game. Yeah, Hall was the best player in that game. Slavin was Slavin was the best player. Hall was the best forward. Andrei had the most points. I get it. He gets the first star. But that's it. These games that Andrei has had, the good ones, have been so few and far between that, it's like a tease. It's like, that's the one that's going to get him going. So, is what it is. Their offense will come around eventually. With all of this said, and all of the negativity that people are carrying around, which is normal. I don't blame any of you for carrying it around. I don't. I do. I watched the game feeling exactly the same way you did. I promise you. And Rod Brindamore tonight saying, our power play stinks. It does. It does stink. The improvement will come from 20 and 37. And again, I'm really not complaining about Aho. He's a 200-foot player. He won, what did he win? 14 out of 20 faceoffs tonight, something like that. Played a great game. He was the best player. He was Carolina's best player today. He and Blake. Slavin also. And I thought Rantanen was good. He just wasn't great. He'll get it. I have no doubts that he'll get it. But with all of the said, with all of the problems that Carolina has had scoring, and I think it's 10 goals in their last 6 games, with all of this, all of these issues, or maybe it's 10 goals in the last 5 games, I don't know. They're still top 10 in the league in scoring per game. Their offense has been mediocre for 2.5 months, and they're still top 10 in the league in scoring per game. They're top 10 in scoring, top 10 in defense. We got first world problems here. It's not a bad hockey team. It's a team that should be better. Granted. We all agree on that. So, I don't think I have ever at any point tried to sell you something. I just haven't. It's not in my best interest to do that. I only succeed if I am honest with you. We don't have to see the same things. But I try to confirm what I think I see with other people. People who I trust to know. And when I see something different than they do, I take their points. So it's been a bad run for Dmitry Orlov, hasn't it? So the game against the LA Kings, one of the worst games I've ever seen him play, ever, no matter what team he's been on. He was bad. Freddie Anderson wasn't any good either that game. But Orlov was worse than Anderson. Tonight, I thought Freddie was good, except the second goal, the one that made it 2-0, that one that made the hill a little too steep for Carolina to climb. That goal can't go. It's a shot from distance that Freddie saw. I mean, he stabbed at it with the glove. If you go watch the video, he kind of snatched at it with the glove, missed it, hits the crossbar, drops behind him. He knows he doesn't have it. He freezes for a second, then he realizes, oh, it must be behind me. He turns around, misses it with his glove, falls on it with his hip, pushes it into the net. That can't go. Honestly, I think Carolina's goaltending when Anderson and Kochetkov are playing well, I think Carolina's goaltending is more than good enough if they play well. Is it good enough to win a Stanley Cup? I don't know. I think they can overcome that goaltending if they play well as a team. I think they can put themselves in a position to win if they play well as a team, which they haven't really done that on a consistent basis. But those are the types of goals that the Hurricanes don't ever seem to score. Right? When was the last time the Hurricanes scored a goal like that? So, Anderson was great, I thought, really, until that goal. And then I'm like, oh, man. The second period, he made a bunch of really good saves. I think he got a little lucky in the first period, to be perfectly honest. I thought Minnesota could have had 2, maybe even 3 goals. Missed the net on a couple. I think Matt Boldy had a great opportunity with half the net and just shot it wide. But sometimes we get scoreboard happy or sad in this case because I thought that Carolina played well enough to score 3 goals tonight. And Minnesota probably should have had more too. But I think the Hurricanes could have had 3 tonight. Whether it's the penalty shot, any of the Aho chances, Rantanen had, they're not close enough to be grade A scoring chances because if you use some of the analytical websites, the scoring chances are graded based on proximity to the net. But, I mean, if you're at the face-off dot, they don't consider that a grade A scoring chance, but I think we all know that that is a great chance to score. Mikko just isn't doing it. He's got 1 point. 2 points in 6 games with the Canes. That's not because of who he's playing with. It just isn't. Part of it is him. And again, there's going to be an adjustment period. All right, couple of other things, and it's frustrating for all of us, right? It's completely understandable. Fortunate. We could have had 2 skate blade injuries tonight. Jackson Blake nearly got skate bladed right down the middle of the face. Hit the visor. I don't know how he didn't get skate bladed right down the bridge of the nose. So we dodged a bullet there. or Jackson did. I guess we all did. And then Mikko Rantanen got stepped on by I think it was Marcus Johansson. Got stepped on him. I'm not arguing about the penalty call. It's fine. I know he got the puck, but according to Dave Jackson, you can get even if you get the puck first, if you trip a guy, and I guess we can debate all day long whether or not he was tripped, but Rantanen's action, I guess, caused the whole situation. I'm not arguing about it. But that could have been bad too, right? So a little bit fortunate in that regard. Carolina needs better from the Kotkaniemi line. Again, I didn't think Hall was great tonight. I thought Kotkaniemi was awful tonight. There were 3 horrible giveaways. Fortunately, they didn't lead to goals. 2 of them were in the defensive end. One of them was in the offensive end, but he gave it away near the blue line. And it started a transition opportunity. But again, they didn't lead to goals. But that line is too important to Carolina's offense. On the road, that line is probably going to draw difficult matchups in terms of dealing with other teams' top scorers. That's the way it's been all season long. When it was Necas, it was definitely the case. But when it's Andre, that's going to be the case too. Especially if you got Jackson Blake on that side, even though Blake is responsible, he's small. So teams are going to put good scoring lines against them. And you can't help them out by giving them transition opportunities, and that happened too many times tonight. I say that, but I will also say that I think the last 2 or 3 weeks, Kotkaniemi's been really good. He just wasn't tonight. I've already done my thing about Andre. Invisible for 50 minutes. Got to get him going. Have to figure out a way to get him going, and it's been that way all year long. I do think it's interesting that he's on the second power play unit, but I don't mind that because they should have divided those guys up anyway. At some point, I wonder if Rod will try, it's going to sound weird, but a Robinson or a Martinook on the power play simply to provide some energy and work. We don't have to have one on one unit, one on the other. But maybe the second unit gets a little element of jam to it. It's trying to be too fancy. You're not going to be Tampa. You're not going to be Boston when they had Krejci and Bergeron. You're not going to be that. You got to be a blue-collar power play if you're Carolina. You got to figure out a way to be a little bit more feisty on the power play. It's been a drain. Like, they could have scored 2 in Winnipeg, right? They had the Blake goal that was called back, and they had Rantanen off the post. So, I mean, that power play could have scored twice. Tonight, they had 2 power. Actually, they only had 1 power play, right? 1 power play and the penalty shot. And the first power play, the only chance they had was Svechnikov coming down the left side in transition, and he shot it way wide. And then the penalty shot, it is what it is. So it's been frustrating, isn't it? I feel as though I rambled for 30 minutes about a 2-1 hockey game that had a lot going for it except goals. I wrote down, I circled so many things from early chances for the Staal line the first 2 minutes of the game. First goal, again, what was Orlov doing on the first goal? I have no problem with the puck getting past him. He wasn't close enough to the wall to keep it in. But when you're going back and Jalen Chatfield's got your man, you got to go get his. And Orlov wasn't skating hard, and then he looked like over his shoulder towards the half wall. I'm like, what's over there? You got a guy skating right down the slot. How about getting him? And he didn't. That was the first goal. A Dmitry Orlov special. I'll be interested if Scott Morrow draws in. Who will it be for? Rod said they might get him a game again before they send him back. And he's going to get sent down, my guess is, right after the game on Saturday. But I don't know if he's going to play or not, but he told me that they'd like to. So Rod doesn't like the healthy scratch players, though. We know this. We absolutely know it. Whether it's a blind spot or what, Rod coaches players like he wanted to be coached. But I could see it. I could see Dmitry Orlov watching a game with us and letting Scott Morrow play. I would be interested to see Chatfield and Morrow together. I would. I'd like to see Scott Morrow play a game. Of course, they need to win that game against the Utah Hockey Club. That Saturday afternoon becomes super important going into a long break. You don't want to go. The game in Chicago was, when was it? Last Thursday. You don't want to end up going 3.5 weeks without winning a hockey game. Right? And that's basically what we'd be talking about if they don't beat Utah Saturday afternoon. So I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done saying the same things over and over again. Teams playing well, just not well enough. And I know it's frustrating for everybody, especially when there's a man advantage. All right. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. No place like it. Sammy Hanner's crew do a great job. You should check them out for all of your exterior home improvement needs. I don't know if people expected me to rant. I don't know if people expected me to criticize the online echo chamber, which I have had my issues with. I'll tell you what it isn't about. It's not about line combinations. It's not about the system. It's about collectively a team right now that is just gripping the stick. They'll eventually get out of it. I think. They might not. I think they will. And when they do, they'll look right. Maybe it'll take a bit. Maybe it'll happen Saturday. I don't know. None of us do. We all think we have the answers. And the answers are really right in front of us. It's all about those players individually playing better. Because the reality is, if you go back and you watch the game, you go, man, how was that not a better opportunity? How was that not a goal? Or how did they miss the net there? How did he just not be able to elevate the puck? Why didn't Jackson Blake shoot it rather than try to stick handle through 4 guys? Just shoot it, dude. Just shoot it. You're not going to stick handle through that. Just shoot it. Deep breaths. We'll see everybody Saturday after the Hurricanes and the Utah Hockey Club. I called them the Utah Jazz earlier. I don't believe Karl Malone is playing. Maybe John Stockton. Good night.